Now, who's ever heard of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia? Okay, what? Anybody shout it out. What year did that happen?
1787.
Yeah, 1787. But how did that get called in the first place? A lot of people don't know this. But in 1786, this is after the Revolutionary War, after the Treaty of Paris in 1783, so we were a nation. A group of state delegates were in Annapolis discussing the navigation of some river, which was, I forget, even though I was there. But a group of us thought, you know, we need to get together again because this Articles of Confederation, that was the first governing document of the United States, wasn't really working. So we thought we need to get together and amend the Articles of Confederation. Now that was in September of 1786. 1786. So this was a year before the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. So several delegates agreed to that. So a convention was set up to amend the Articles in May of 1787 in Philadelphia. Now, I'm a very short guy. I was 5'4", 100 pounds. I wasn't a very good public speaker. I was kind of shy. And I just studied a lot. That was my strength. And because I knew that we were going to have a convention the next year, all I did was study. I read all kinds of books about history, government, etc. I wrote letters with George Washington. He and I corresponded in that year before the convention in Philadelphia. And I wanted him to lead the discussions in Philadelphia, and he eventually agreed. So we met. There were state delegates that met in Philadelphia in the summer of 1787. Now, was that a hot summer? I just told you. Yeah, it was the hottest summer on record. The average temperature was 98. Now, there were about 55 delegates there from 12 states. Rhode Island didn't send any delegates, and they all thought they were there to talk about amending the Articles of Confederation. Now, I had a different point of view, and Washington knew what I was going to do as well, because he thought that the Articles could never be amended well enough to govern a nation. So, all the delegates had to sign to be secret. They had to sign a paper that they would not talk to anyone during this convention. The windows were kept shut. There were thick curtains over the windows. There were 2 guards at every door because the delegates did not want the rest of the world to know what was going on inside that room. And it was 98 degrees outside, so you can imagine how hot these things were. We were in there for 4 months. From May to September, 4 months. Now, early on, I had a plan about how to introduce the thought that we should write a new governing document, which became the Constitution. So I had to be very careful about how I introduced that. So I had someone else bring it up, because I wasn't a very good speaker. But long and short of it, we eventually arrived at a new governing document, the Constitution of the United States, and we all signed that. And, well, not all of us. A lot of people were kind of reticent about it. They weren't so sure about it. But it was signed in 1787 in September. But we had to send it out to all the different states to okay it. So each state had a ratifying convention. And this is where my friend John Hancock comes in again. Does anybody remember how much older he is than me? Anybody?
25 years.
25?
Shout it out. 300. 300. I like that. Now, he was 14 years older than me, and he was instrumental in the Revolutionary War in signing the Declaration. But he was, at this time, the governor of Massachusetts. Was Massachusetts an important colony? Yeah, they were an important state. Now, they were debating whether or not to accept the Constitution in the ratifying. Now, it wasn't going very well, was it?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't going to pass. Massachusetts was not going to pass that this was going to happen. But in February 6, 1788, you did something that changed the whole thing.
Right, James. I knew that if Massachusetts did not pass or ratify the Constitution, that the rest of the colonies would not follow. So I got together with my collaborators and we came up with something that you might have heard of in the past or know now, since being here at the Constitutional Camp, is the Bill of Rights. I actually put forth the bill to have the Bill of Rights written into the Constitution.
Now that made a big difference because up to that point, there were delegates who were not going to vote for the ratification. After that, Samuel Adams came on board. He was also a member of that ratifying convention. And he said, I like Mr. Hancock's idea. I think we should vote for the Constitution as long as there's a guarantee that there will be a Bill of Rights passed by the first Congress after the new nation comes into existence under the Constitution. So that's how we were tied again together.